Justice. It's one of the most important concepts in human history. But what does it actually mean? Ask 10 different people, and you'll probably get 10 different answers. Is justice about fairness? About following the law? About giving people what they deserve? Or is it something deeper? Over 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Plato asked the same questions, but he didn't just try to define justice. He wanted to design a society where it worked perfectly. That vision became one of the most influential books ever written, The Republic. But before we dive into his ideas, we have to ask, why did Plato even write this? To understand the Republic, we need to look at his mentor, Socrates. Socrates was famous for challenging people's beliefs. He would ask difficult questions, exposing contradictions in how people thought. This made him unpopular with those in power. And in 399 BCE, Socrates was sentenced to death for corrupting the youth of Athens. His crime? Asking too many questions. Plato watched his teacher die, and it changed him forever. He left Athens, traveled across the Mediterranean, and when he returned, he had a mission: to create a society where wisdom ruled over corruption, where the smartest and most virtuous led, not the wealthiest or the strongest. And that's what the Republic is all about. At the heart of his vision is a simple but radical idea that a just society must be structured like a triangle. A society, Plato argued, needs 3 distinct groups, each playing a crucial role. At the base of the triangle, you have the workers. These are the farmers, merchants, and craftsmen who provide for the economy. They grow food, build homes, make clothes, keeping the entire city functioning. Above them are the guardians, also known as the warriors. These are the people who defend the city, the soldiers, protectors, and enforcers of order. Their job isn't to make the rules. They simply follow them and protect the people. And finally, at the very top of society, you have the rulers. But here's where Plato's idea gets really interesting. Plato didn't believe just anyone should lead. He thought that most people aren't fit to rule, because power corrupts those who seek it for personal gain. Instead, he introduced the idea of the Philosopher-King, a ruler chosen not by birthright, wealth, or popularity, but by wisdom. A philosopher-king would spend their entire life learning, questioning, and seeking the truth. They wouldn't chase power for themselves. Instead, they would make rational, just decisions for the good of society. To Plato, the best rulers weren't those who wanted power. They were the ones who deserved it. This was a radical idea in ancient Greece, where kings, warlords, or elected officials ruled. And in many ways, it's still radical today. Here's the surprising thing: Plato hated democracy. Why? Because he believed that democracy gives power to the uninformed masses rather than the wisest individuals. In his view, democracy was just mob rule, where the best speakers, not the best thinkers, ended up in charge. And when you look at modern politics, Plato's argument still raises tough questions. Are the people we elect the most knowledgeable? Do they make decisions based on reason or based on popularity? Do we reward intelligence or manipulation? Plato believed that a just society could only exist when the smartest and most virtuous people were in charge. But here's the problem. How do you ensure that only the wisest rule? How do you stop corrupt people from taking power? And perhaps most importantly, who decides who is wise? Plato's vision of a just society was idealistic, but it wasn't perfect. Many people today argue that democracy, for all its flaws, is still the best system. Because while democracy might allow bad leaders to rise, it also gives people the power to remove them. So, where does that leave us? Plato may not have believed in democracy, but his ideas still challenge us today. Because the fundamental questions of the Republic haven't gone away. Who should lead? How do we ensure fairness in society? Is justice about equality, or about ensuring the most capable people are in charge? Over 2,000 years later, the Republic is still one of the most studied books in history. Because justice isn't just about laws and punishments. It's about balance, it's about wisdom, and it's about making sure every part of society plays its role. So next time someone asks, "What is justice?" don't just answer. Ask them instead. Want to explore more big ideas? Like and subscribe for more.